Today we're sewing a bear's paw quilt block, quirky style, from your favorite scraps. No fuss, just a lot of fun. Hi friends, welcome back to episode 7, block number 7 of our Quirky Quilt series. Today's special request is from a lovely viewer who has requested the bear's paw quilt block. This block is all about warmth, simplicity, and charm. Perfect for quilts you'll reach for over and over again. These blocks are coming together quickly, and their beauty is in their comforting and handmade feel. I love the casual, slightly worn look. These quilts are meant to be used and loved. And as always, there's a PDF pattern in the description box below. Make sure you grab that. I went to a garage sale today and I found some fabrics that we're going to be using for today's project, and I think they will be perfect. I only paid $2 for it, so I was very happy about that. The bear's paw quilt block is a beloved traditional design dating back to the mid-1800s. It's thought to symbolize strength, resilience, and a close connection to nature. It is often used historically to represent journeys and safe passage. Let's get started on this block. Here are the materials you'll need for the Quirky Quilt series. For each block, you'll need scrap fabric, one piece of batting or flannel that measures 10 inches by 10 inches, one piece of your backing fabric. I'm simply using a muslin that is 10 inches by 10 inches. One piece of Pellon P44F lightweight interfacing that measures 10 inches by 10 inches. This is optional. You could sew your block pieces directly onto the batting if you would like. I'm using the interfacing as my canvas so that I can lay out the pieces easily. Various pieces of 2-inch wide scrap fabric pieces. To join the quilt, they will be 10 inches by 2 inches, and we'll need some longer pieces for joining the rows. A rotary cutter with a pinking blade or pinking shears, or if you're cutting a raw edge piece for your block, you could use your straight scissors. And I do have some Elmer's washable school glue to baste my backing fabric to my batting. Pins or clips, invisible thread for the top thread, and black thread in your bobbin if you're doing the hand look stitch, which is number 27 on my Brother PS 500. You could also use a light gray thread for the top thread and black thread in the bottom. And I do have a free pattern for you so that you can follow along. The link to the pattern will be in the description box below. Full disclosure here, we have a brand new pattern, so if you've seen any patterns in the beginning of the video, I reworked this pattern so that it would be easier for all of us. The first pattern I had squares and little tiny pieces, and even though this is really cute, this was a lot to catch even in the layering. I like for my projects to be easy for me and for you. So I have a brand new pattern for you, and it will be available in the description box below. This week, my brother's sewing machine, my brand new one, something went wrong with the thread cutter, so it is in for repair. So we are just going to do a simple straight stitch on our stitching today, and I think it'll be fine. But let's build our quilt sandwich. The first thing you need is your batting with your backing, and I did baste my backing onto my batting using Elmer's glue, so that's ready to go. Then the next thing we want to do is kind of look at our pattern pieces. I have cut them all out. I took a piece of acrylic and I made this nifty little template, if you will. These acrylic pieces came from my friend Kathy in the days when I used to make prints and I didn't want to ship glass. So all I did is made a 10-inch square. Kind of messed up here, but this is my center, so it'll help me kind of see through my Pellon interfacing. So I'm just going to lay my interfacing on here, just like that. And now I know that's my center. Plus, it'll be easy to slide right off here and iron. For the pattern pieces, what I did is I made 4 paws. One is cut out because I only used one. They're the same size, but I thought if there's any of you out there that want to do different paws, you could just pin it to the pattern and cut that out. And same way with the backing fabric. This is just one piece. So for example, this is what the paw looks like. And here is the backing. And then if you wanted to outline the square, you could just do a stitch around the square that is supposed to be there. But we went totally easy. I drew this thing out and then I put it in EQ8, my quilting pattern software. So this should be really easy for all of us. So let's get started. The first thing we have our A's and our B's, and those are always our outlines. And I chose this pretty fabric for the outline. So we'll just lay that down right up to the edge there. And one at the bottom. And then we can trim this because this is the side. So we'll just tuck this under here. And there we go. And then this one will go here. I think it's a pretty primitive outline. And you have to be careful. It does slide on the acrylic. If you wanted, you could just put some glue on there. And we'll lay that on there, just like that, to get us started. And there we go. We have our outline. The next thing we want to do is lay our background pieces. I did 2 of 2 different fabrics. So what we're going to do is simply lay this around 1/4 inch there. And this one will go down here. We're just going to alternate and we can adjust later. And you'll notice I only pinked on the outside of these and the inside is a straight cut. Because, I'll show you in a minute, there, and then this one comes down here, just like that. Then, we do have these 4 cross pieces. So I think I will lay those just like this. And you can see the center line, which will help you in positioning that, kind of like that. And I just used the same color for these, like that. And then this one I think can come in a little bit, and like this, like this. And we do have a middle square, and I will save that until we lay our paw down. This is the paw. Here are my paws. And we're simply going to lay these like that. How nifty is that? And then this one will come down here. I told you guys I was gonna make it easy. Like that. This one will come here. This one up here. And our little square that has a sheep and a crow on it, we'll put that in the center. And there you have it. The Quirky bear paw. And again, you can adjust anything you need to adjust. This is ready to press And look how pretty it is. And if you wanted, you could tuck the paw underneath the strip. Let's see how that will look. No, I think I like the paw out. Now I'm ready to slide this right onto the batting, just like that. And we'll just grab that and slide it right on, just like that. Line everything up if you need to. Let's check the top. I think we are good. And our little square in the center. And I think narrowing up those seams, everything seems to fit a little better, but you still have enough room to go ahead and sew on the exposed pinking, and it will catch everything. I think I need to bring this down. There we go. Let's press. This is a lot less pieces than my original thought. And I think it'll be fine to have the, there we go. I think it'll be fine to have the straight stitch on this one instead of my hand look stitch. And I think I'm going to use a cream colored thread, and then I'll still use black on the back. One more look before I stitch. I think it's darling. I'm going to go ahead and stitch this. After we have this stitched, we'll be ready to join to block number 6. I'll be right back. I'm back from the sewing machine, and this is what it looks like. And I kind of like that zigzag. And they kind of look like bear paws, right? I think this truly qualifies for Quirky. And here's the back. Now we need to prepare to join this to block number 6. We are ready to join our 2 blocks. There's our Dresden plate. And there is our bear's paw. We need to pick 2 straps. Let's see. Will this be enough? Yep. So we'll go with this on this one. And how about this on this one? That'll be really pretty on there. Just like that. And I think normally on the back I sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I think I want to go a little larger so when I flip it over, I don't cover up too much of the petal. Because you can see on this one I left enough room, but here maybe I could just go like this. So maybe I will stick with my 1/4 inch. I think I'll be fine. So remember, right sides together, just like that. And then we will pin it. Or I think this time I will just clip it. Just like that. And then I'll put this on the back, right sides together to the backing fabric. Line that up. We're going to the sewing machine and a 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to go for it. I'll be right back. Back from the sewing machine. Little wonky here, but I'm using a backup sewing machine. So I'm just going to trim these. Trim them at the top. All right, let's give these a press, the strips. Then we want to bring this out. And this one out. Press again. And then as always, we just bring them together, flip them over, line up the edge of the block, and the tops. And then clip. Then we're going to sew right on the edge, but not on the block. We'll clip the top. Like that. And that. Here. And here. I'll be right back. All right, let's unclip these and see what we got. We'll open that up and we just want to give that a quick press. This one's a little off, but I think it'll be fine. And then we'll bring this back and fold that in half. And flip it over. Not too bad on the petals. I think that'll be fine. And then we'll pin that. Perfect. And then this one, fold this in half and down. And I think that one is perfectly fine. I can bring this out a little. There we go. And then I'm going to press real quick right there. Okay. And then this side. And look at that. And I'm just going to the sewing machine right on the edge, less than 1/8 of an inch. And here is the back. Not too bad. I'll be right back. What do you think? And it's going to go like this. So cute, and the back is even cute. Okay guys, I would love to hear your ideas. If there's a traditional quilt block you'd like me to make quirky, please leave your suggestions in the comments below. I love seeing your ideas and making these tutorials extra special for you. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a Bible verse and a final thought to encourage you. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth strength. Isaiah 40, verse 29. Just like the bear's paw symbolizes strength and resilience, remember that God provides us strength during our toughest days. Even when life feels worn and tattered, His grace renews us, making us stronger with every stitch. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and commenting. It truly means the world to me. Thank you for downloading my patterns, and some of you have left me some tips, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And until the next video, God bless you.